The New York Jets have a golden opportunity as Cowboys star pass rusher Micah Parsons has demanded a trade out of the Dallas Cowboys, and the New York Jets have a crazy opportunity to add him to a defensive line featuring some other very, very good first-round picks, but obviously no one as good as the man himself, Micah Parsons. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Jets Digest. Before we hop into the video for today, only 39.8% of viewers are subscribed to the channel. So if you are not subscribed, please take a second, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a ton. But hopping into the news for today. Out of nowhere this morning, Micah Parsons, the relations between the Dallas Cowboys and Micah Parsons have started to deteriorate, and Micah Parsons is on the brink of declaring a trade. A couple hours later, Micah Parsons officially demands a trade via Instagram, demands a trade away from the Dallas Cowboys, citing how he loved being a Cowboys. His father grew up rooting for the Dallas Cowboys, and that made it especially special for him to put that star on the side of his helmet and go out and play for that team. Now, relationships have completely soured between the two sides as the Dallas Cowboys have reportedly not had communication with Micah Parsons. He was brought in and was talking about leadership to Jerry Jones when Jerry Jones closes the door and starts talking about his contract. Micah Parsons said it was his idea, his thought that he wanted his agent with him when he had those discussions, and he didn't know that that was the way the conversation was going to go. And after this conversation with Jerry Jones, Micah Parsons said he has not had any talks with the Dallas Cowboys about getting this contract extension that he so clearly deserves, being the superstar in the NFL that he is. Now, he's declared this trade, and usually when a star player like a Micah Parsons demands a trade, like what we saw over the summer with Myles Garrett, everyone goes like, okay, whatever, it's for show. We know this guy probably isn't going to go anywhere. But with Micah Parsons, it feels different, and I'm going to tell you why it feels different. It is different because if you read what Micah Parsons put out on Instagram, I can't take excerpts of it because it just wouldn't do the whole thing justice. The emotion that was contained in this paragraph, it was a huge paragraph from Micah Parsons talking about how he wanted to be with the team so much, but now completely he's all out of the Dallas Cowboys. It was never about money for this guy. Doesn't want to be a part of the Dallas Cowboys anymore. Now the New York Jets have an opportunity to add him to a defensive line that features some very, very powerful guys. And you know, Aaron Glenn, being the defensive head coach that he is, he would love to add what would be one of the best defensive players in the AFC immediately. It's Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, and then would be Micah Parsons right there. Top four guys. One of those guys are winning the defensive player of the year. It depends on who's healthy, who does really well, who doesn't do well. But this would be the guy. Aaron Glenn would coach up the secondary with Sauce Gardner and Michael Carter II, and Micah Parsons would absolutely make life miserable for the other quarterbacks in the AFC East and the entire AFC. This is a move that I'm sure 31 teams are going to go ahead and call Jerry Jones, call the Dallas Cowboys, and figure out how likely is it that we can add Micah Parsons to our football team because he is that dude. Let's take a look at his stats. Micah Parsons last season only played in 13 games, but still put up 12 sacks, which is insane. Almost an entire sack per game. 12 tackles for a loss, 2 forced fumbles, 23 hits. I mean, we're just looking at these stats for fun. You know who Micah Parsons is. You know what he brings to your football team. Let's talk about the parts that aren't as fun. The stuff that you would have to give up for Micah Parsons. And if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, no doubt the trade obviously starts with Will McDonald IV, our up-and-coming pass rusher ourselves. They want him because they would have a huge gap in their pass rushing should they go ahead and trade Micah Parsons after this offseason where they saw DeMarcus Tank Lawrence depart in free agency. They have a hole there from their pass rush, and now if they traded away Micah Parsons, they would have an even bigger hole in their pass rush. They would need to bring back sack production. Will McDonald does that, and he is not due a contract for a couple more years, so they could kick the can down the road when it comes to paying guys big money. Now, you want to talk about money? I know the New York Jets are paying the number one paid outside quarterback in the league in Sauce Gardner. They're paying a top 3 paid slot cornerback in the league in Michael Carter II. You're saying now they're going to go out and pay Micah Parsons $40+ million, make him the highest paid defensive player in football? I would say pump the brakes on that because He has said over and over and over again in this declaration or demand of a trade, he has talked about how it's not about the money for him. Back in December of 2024, he came out on camera, on video, into a microphone to the public. He said, there is not a huge difference between $30 million and $40 million. I want to be on a team. I don't want to be a team that cannot afford more players because they are paying one guy too much money. And this is the exact kind of guy that you want in your locker room too, because he is willing to give up some money if it means making the rest of the team around them better, which is awesome. And we know Aaron Glenn loves people and he wants leaders. Micah Parsons, a lot of people make fun of him for his podcasting on the side, but he is a good podcaster because he knows what to say. He's a smart guy, which is what makes him a fantastic leader when it comes to what he would bring to the New York Jets locker room. Like, forget about what he does on the field. Forget about the fact that he would be the best player on the team instantly. In the locker room too, he is exactly what Aaron Glenn is looking for. He just would be an absolute dream player for Aaron Glenn. And I have no doubt that the New York Jets are highly interested in Mr. Micah Parsons. But like I said before, what we'd have to give up, it would start with our 2026 first round pick, which is projected to be high, paired with our pass rusher here, Will McDonald IV. That is where it starts. The Cowboys would probably ask for more on top of that, and the New York Jets would be willing to oblige to more on top of that. But I really believe that the New York Jets can put together a package that will be one of the more attractive packages that the Dallas Cowboys can receive for their star player. Now, they came out and said that they have no intentions of trading Micah Parsons, but Micah Parsons, really, the trade request, it feels different from the other big-time trade requests. Terry McLaurin doesn't really feel like he's going to get traded. Micah Parsons, it's really, really bad. The situation is really, really ugly. If you've been paying attention all summer, usually the contract talks get better as you get closer to the end of the offseason, but Micah Parsons, his talks with the Cowboys have gotten even worse, which shouldn't even be possible. That's just an absolute failure for Jerry Jones, and honestly, feel bad for Cowboys fans. I know a lot of people hate Cowboys fans. They like making fun of Cowboys fans, but I mean, us as Jets fans, we know what it's like to be hopeful for your team every year and to have your owner absolutely just screw everything up every single year. That's exactly what happens to the Jets. Jerry Jones is turning into that kind of owner, unfortunately for them. But that we know what that feels like, and that's why, should Micah Parsons become, they have to be listening. They have to be at least listening to trades, because Jerry Jones has came out and talked about how even when you sign players, you don't actually have them because they can get hurt. It pretty much sounds like Jerry Jones is waiting for Micah Parsons to get injured so he doesn't have to pay him, which is absolutely crazy. One of the things in Micah Parsons' response was he didn't like the fact that the Cowboys were getting mad at players for getting hurt while fighting for the Cowboys ownership, which is absolutely ridiculous. I think it was J.J. Watt who came out and said, there's nothing that makes you want to go out and fight more than the people who get mad at you for fighting for them. But, I mean, this situation is super, super messy. The New York Jets have to be considering putting together a package for Micah Parsons. Someone asked me today, do the New York Jets have money for Micah Parsons? And I said, not really, but every single team in the NFL, if they don't have money for Micah Parsons, you go make and find money for Micah Parsons because he is that good. He is someone who is an entire defense unto himself. The New York Jets defense could be what we've been hoping it could be. I mean, just Micah Parsons plus Quinnen Williams plus Jermaine Johnson, and with the secondary we have, yes, the safeties aren't amazing, but that is immediately a top 5 defense in the NFL. We would be giving up with Micah Parsons, the draft pick might not be that high anymore, but this is absolutely the franchise-altering move that the New York Jets can make to absolutely just light up this team. The problem is, obviously, you need Justin Fields to work out, but Micah Parsons would be a huge help in getting this team turned around, going in the right direction. If you can't tell, super excited about Micah Parsons. I am absolutely shocked that he came out and demanded a trade, because if you pay attention to Micah Parsons in social media, he's a level-headed guy. This isn't a scheme to try to get Jerry Jones to change the way the contract negotiations are being handled. he actually wants out, and I fully believe Micah Parsons will be on a different team come September. The opening game is the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Dallas Cowboys, and that Dallas Cowboys team, I do not expect to have Micah Parsons on it because he will be getting traded. Now, this is absolutely insane. You know there are going to be some reports linking Micah Parsons to the New York Jets. Really, I cannot wait to cover those. One more thing to add. Recently, the Dallas Cowboys, for whatever reason, their strategy with getting their top guys paid has been wait till the exact end of the offseason to go out and pay them. CeeDee Lamb last season had to hold out a training camp, was eventually paid to be just under Justin Jefferson as a top wide receiver. And then they went on and paid Dak Prescott, made him the highest paid player in the history of the league at the time. They did that right before the first game of the year, or I think it was right before the first Sunday of last season, right before the Dallas Cowboys game was about to go off. That's absolutely crazy. Not the way that business needs to be done in the NFL. But hey, Jerry Jones can run that team however he wants. The reason why this looks different is Jerry Jones has not contacted Micah Parsons at all over the offseason, which is absolutely a problem. There were reports all of last offseason about how Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, the deals were getting worked out. People were talking about it, and the guys wanted a ton of money, and the Cowboys didn't want to give it to them. That's why the deals took so long. With Micah Parsons, he is not even demanding to be the top of the market guy, and the Cowboys haven't even talked to him at all. They have absolutely disrespected him. They have completely bungled the handling of a star player. The man is only 26 years old. How do you not invest in that guy? Face of the franchise type player. I really need to hear some reports about the New York Jets getting proactive here and figuring out what they can do to add Micah Parsons to be the heart of the New York Jets defense. That's what I got for this video. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and go Jets.